My name is Daniel. I am 89 years old. When you reach this age, people ask many questions. How was your life? What was your greatest success? What was your biggest mistake? Some people are proud of their business. Some are proud of their money. Others are proud of their fame. But for me, my greatest treasure was none of those things. My greatest treasure was a person. Her name was Emma. She was my wife. We lived together for 56 years. 56 years? Today, some people cannot even stay together for 6 months. But we lived together for more than half a century, and to be honest, our life was not perfect. We argued sometimes. We hurt each other sometimes. Sometimes we went to bed without speaking. Sometimes we had no money. Sometimes we were afraid of the future. But even then, every morning I made the same decision. I chose her again, every day, every single time. I met Emma when I was 22 years old. At that time, I was just an ordinary young man. I had big dreams, but almost no money in my pocket. I worked in a small workshop. All day I worked with metal and tools. In the evening, I came home tired. One day, a friend invited me to a small party. I did not really want to go. I had work the next day, but I went anyway, and that night changed my life. When I walked into the room, people were laughing. Music was playing. But my eyes saw only one person. She was standing near the window. She wore a simple white dress. She looked very ordinary, but her smile lit up the whole room. At that moment, I did not know it yet, but that girl would change my entire life. I walked toward her. To be honest, I was nervous. I wanted to say something smart, but the first word that came out of my mouth was simple. Hello? She smiled, and she said hello. That was how our conversation began. We talked about life. We talked about dreams. We talked about childhood. We talked for hours, and we did not notice how time passed. When that evening ended, I understood one thing. I wanted to see her again. We started meeting more often. Sometimes we walked in the park. Sometimes we sat in a small cafe. Sometimes we simply walked and talked. We did not have expensive restaurants. We did not have expensive gifts. But we had something important. We had sincerity. I could be myself around her, and she felt free around me. One day I said to her, I am not a rich man, but if you want, I want to spend my life with you. She stayed quiet for a moment, then she smiled, and she'd said, I am not looking for money. I am looking for someone loyal. We got married. Our first home was very small, an old house with 2 rooms. Sometimes rain came through the roof. In winter, the house was cold, but we were very happy there. We did not have a big television. We did not have an expensive car, but we had each other. And sometimes that is enough. Life is not always easy. One day I lost my job. When I came home, I was worried. I looked at Emma and I said, I lost my job. She stayed quiet for a moment. Then she said, we will get through this together. She never left me alone, not even in the hardest moments. A few years later, our first child was born. When I held my son in my arms, the world felt different. Later, more children came.
That's the stuff.
Our house filled with laughter. Sometimes we were very tired. Sometimes we were very happy. Life felt like it was moving very fast. Years passed. Our children grew up. Our house became quiet again. One day, Emma went to the doctor, and that day, our life changed again. The doctor said she was sick. In that moment, it felt like time stopped. But Emma held my hand and said, do not be afraid. The next years were not easy. But we valued every day. Sometimes we looked at old photographs. Sometimes we simply sat together in silence. But we were together, and that was the most important thing. One day, she looked at me and said, "If I could live my life again, I would still choose you." I could not say anything. My eyes were full of tears. Emma passed away 11 years ago, but I still keep her picture on my table. Sometimes people ask me, if you could live your life again, what would you change? I always give the same answer, nothing. Because even if I came back to this world 10 times, I would still find her, and I would still choose her. Every single time, and even today, sometimes I still talk to her, not out loud, just quietly, like she is still sitting across from me. Because when you spend 56 years with someone, their voice never really leaves you. Their laughter stays in your mind. Their memory stays in your heart. Real love is not something loud. It is not something dramatic. Real love is quiet. It is built in small moments that slowly become a lifetime. And when I look back at my life now, I realize something simple. The greatest decision I ever made was walking up to a girl in a white dress and saying one small word, "Hello."